Hi, we have to have the talk. Um, while our audience keeps growing, we continue to lose money on the podcasts. Why? Let's be honest. We suck at selling advertising. We don't turn it down, but we don't really work at selling it because, in many ways, we find we were always worried about whether it'll compromise our integrity, and it takes time that we could spend on the programming. So we've decided to see how much our audience wants these programs, and we're asking you, would you consider the equivalent of buying us a cup of coffee every month? If even a fraction of our audience did that, we'd have enough revenue to keep going and even expand some of our services. Now, I don't want to turn these podcasts into an NPR like begging for dollars any more than I want to fill them with ads. So I'm going to ask you today to go out to buymeacoffee.com/tech podcast. That's buymeacoffee.com/tech podcast. And consider giving us like $5 a month Canadian. It's Canadian, eh? If enough of you do that over the next day or so, we'll have enough money to keep going. That's it. Thanks a lot. We appreciate your listenership and we want to keep the program going. So buymeacoffee.com/tech podcast. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. China keeps on coming with AI bombshells. Meta is bringing agentic AI to millions of businesses. AI is finding that humans hallucinate as well. And are Microsoft and OpenAI having relationship issues? Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. The Far East tsunami continues as Chinese companies deliver even more advancements in AI and now quantum computing. We'd barely recovered from the shock of DeepSeek, the Chinese AI model that delivered an open-source AI frontier model that many regard as equal to anything from Google or OpenAI, only to hear last week that the next model, R2, an improvement, they say, will be here shortly. These models are open source, they're free, and they're vastly cheaper to run as they were developed in spite of the US embargoes on the latest in chip technology. Those embargoes, it seemed, didn't hold back Chinese development. In fact, they may have inspired it. Huawei, the Chinese phone giant, announced its own AI chipset, and another Chinese firm announced Medusa, an agentic framework that could also run efficiently on smaller devices. And in the area of quantum computing, most of us are at least peripherally aware that Google announced what they termed as a breakthrough with their Sycamore processor several weeks ago. This was seen to be huge in terms of performance. Well, it turns out that researchers have developed a quantum computer, Zuchongzhi 2, which reportedly performs computations, wait for it, 1 million times faster than Google's Sycamore processor. Led by physicist Pan Zhenwei of the University of Science and Technology in China, Zuchongzhi 2 is a 66-qubit programmable superconducting quantum computer. Okay, maybe there's some optimism or even exaggeration of the results, and the devil is always in the details. Both Google's Sycamore and this new Chinese offering are still at the point of demonstrating theoretical rather than practical outcomes, but that's not the story. These results were published in a reputable paper, and even if they're off by a significant number, what if it's not 1 million times? What if it's just 500,000 times as fast? This is still an incredible development. Alibaba's cloud has unveiled QWQ-32B, a compact AI reasoning model boasting 32 billion parameters. Now, put this in perspective. OpenAI is somewhere around 1.8 trillion parameters. DeepSeek shocked the world with 720 billion parameters in a reasoning model. If Alibaba is correct, their QWQ-32B matches the performance of some of these larger models, like DeepSeek's R1. It comes at least close to OpenAI's recent models with a mere 32 billion parameters. It's a tiny fraction. There are some that say you could run this model on a PC. Now, this efficiency not only reduces deployment costs, but it also makes advanced AI more accessible. Following the announcement, Alibaba's shares surged over 8% in Hong Kong. These developments highlight China's rapid progress in cutting-edge technologies, challenging the dominance of Western tech giants. And as China continues to innovate in quantum computing and AI, much of this open source, the global tech landscape is going to experience a seismic shift. And here's another sleeper. A lot of attention goes to OpenAI, sometimes Google, now Grok, and lately DeepSeek. But few people realize how big a player Meta, the parent of Facebook and Instagram, is in the AI space. Its Llama LLMs are free to developers around the world and have been downloaded over 800 million times. And they're being used actively by over 700 million consumers. Now, Meta's platform is accelerating its efforts to integrate Agentic AI, autonomous systems capable of performing tasks without human intervention, into a suite of business tools aiming to revolutionize operations for millions of enterprises worldwide. Central to Meta's strategy is the development of advanced voice-powered AI capabilities. The company recently unveiled its latest language model, Llama 4, designed to facilitate more natural and conversational interactions. This innovation positions Meta to compete directly with industry leaders like OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google. By integrating Agentic AI into its platforms, Meta aims to automate routine tasks, streamline customer support, and provide personalized experience at scale. This move is expected to significantly boost efficiency and productivity for businesses, allowing them to focus more on their strategic initiatives. Analysts anticipate that this AI integration could unlock substantial revenue streams for Meta as well. For instance, just embedding AI chatbots into WhatsApp could transform user business interactions, potentially adding up to $16 billion in revenue by 2025 and reaching $45 billion by 2030. Those are Meta's predictions, but for them, the sky's the limit. Now, while the benefits are promising, the deployment of Agentic AI still raises significant privacy and security considerations. Experts caution that these autonomous systems require extensive access to personal and organizational data, necessitating robust safeguards to protect against potential misuse. But Meta has been fighting this war for years, and still, somehow, always manages to get through it. It may be a challenge, but I wouldn't bet against them. Much has been made of the potential for errors in artificial intelligence, particularly as it gets used more and more in research and other functions. One of the big resistances to adopting AI is AI hallucinations. But we don't hear as much about how AI is identifying errors in research papers authored by humans. A notable recent case involved a study of black plastic utensils, and it sounded alarms about the potential toxicity of these tools, until an AI review found that the risk was overhyped. A mathematical error in the underlying research suggested a key chemical exceeded the safe limit when in fact it was 10 times lower than the limit. Oops. Now, if an AI had made that mistake, it would have created massive headlines. But if an AI finds it, not so many headlines. But the incident has spurred the development of AI-driven tools that utilize large language models to scrutinize and verify scientific manuscripts, aiming to enhance the accuracy and reliability of published research. Several projects are underway to harness AI for error detection in scientific literature. There's a manuscript analyzer, a tool that employs natural language processing to assess the consistency and validity of data presented in research papers. There's a stat reviewer, an AI system designed to evaluate the statistical methodologies used in studies, ensuring appropriate and accurate application. There is a score focusing on assessing the rigor of the scientific reporting by checking for adherence to established guidelines and standards. So the integration of AI in peer review processes holds promise for improving the quality of scientific publications. By automating the detection of errors and inconsistencies, these tools can assist reviewers and editors in maintaining high standards, thereby bolstering public trust in scientific findings. Will there be false positives? Absolutely. Researchers are estimating they might get as high as 10% false positives. But again, let's turn that around. That means that 90% of what AI caught were undetected errors. A recent survey by CellCell involving over 2,000 smartphone users reveals that a significant majority perceive artificial intelligence features on their devices as minimally valuable. Specifically, 73% of iPhone users and 87% of Samsung Galaxy users feel that AI adds little or no value to their smartphone experience. Now, this runs contrary to what the manufacturers say. They say their people are using the features. Samsung claims that their AI offerings are getting high levels of engagement, with 75% of Samsung users engaging with AI daily. And even the survey says that among iPhone users who have engaged with AI features, 72% utilized writing tools for tasks like proofreading and text rewriting. Other features include notification summaries, 54%, priority messages in the mail, 44%, photo cleanup tools, 29%, and smart replies in the mail and message apps, 20%. Many iPhone users reported that AI was a useful feature in selecting a phone. But here's the kicker from the survey. A vast majority are unwilling to pay for AI services, with 86% of iPhone users and 94% of Samsung users indicating they would not subscribe to paid AI features. We can make all the usual noises about how manufacturers need to communicate the value of AI better or offer better features, but there's clearly a risk here. What if you invest all this money and people just go, meh? Rumors surfaced this week that Mustafa Suleyman, co-founder of DeepMind, who serves as the CEO of Microsoft's AI offerings, had a rather tense meeting with OpenAI staff recently. Suleyman was apparently upset that OpenAI wouldn't document the way their reasoning model works and turn that documentation over to him. Well, that might be for good reason. Microsoft is developing an in-house AI reasoning model of their own. It's known as the MAI family, aiming to reduce dependence on OpenAI's technology. These models have been tested for integration into Microsoft's 365 Copilot and may be offered to external developers by the end of the year. Additionally, Microsoft's exploration of alternative AI models from companies like xAI, Meta, and DeepSeek indicates a broader effort to diversify its AI partnerships and capabilities. One could wonder whether Microsoft is hedging its bets to find another, perhaps more efficient or cheaper alternative to power its offering. But it's a fact that Microsoft is developing its own AI offerings, and reportedly, things aren't going that well. They have, again, reportedly, seen some setbacks and failures in their development, and some senior resignations from their team with complaints about Suleyman's leadership style and approach to development. So, was Suleyman actually angrily demanding OpenAI reveal their secrets? Maybe. And here's why I think there's tension. Satya Nadella had to answer questions about this, and just from the tone and wording, it felt like a rehearsed phrasing drafted by some communications writer. And at the end, he added this little bit that said that there would always be open source solutions, as if they would, keep the commercial ones competitive. So, we won't suggest that Suleyman's not working out, although some investors are questioning his value. And there's not enough data to say that OpenAI and Microsoft are actually breaking up. But here's my advice to Sam Altman. Watch out. If Microsoft says that they just need some space, that's never good. And that's our show. You can reach me with your questions and opinions, but don't break up with us on email or on social media. You can reach me at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a marvelous Monday.